Take 2. So if someone out there can do me a favor. Oh, cause see, look at it was. I think we were just live on my own personal Facebook page.
I hope that people saw that.
Oh my goodness. Okay, are we live? Is this thing on? There we go.
Oh.
Now, see, we weren't seeing any viewers. Okay, so guys, we apologize that we're late. Obviously, this is not Gerry or Candice. Sorry we're late, you guys. I just realized I went on and we went 7 minutes in. I had a really beautiful intro for this about your miracle. I got my miracle talk and then I realized, wait a second, there's no one watching. How is there no one watching? And it's because I was doing it in secret mode because I was doing some audio video tests. So now we're live. Nice to see you guys. We've got some few people watching already. This is making me very happy. Sorry about our tardiness. And as we have guests joining us, I want to let you know, obviously, Candice is away this week. Gerry is enjoying some nice time to himself, so I'm here this afternoon to talk about I Got My Miracle. And as we're waiting for people to join, I just want to remind you guys that this is backwards here, but the phone number 1-866-936-9446 if you can't read it. Super important that you guys book with us right now because we are having such an epic year. We're on week 4 here already of 2019, and we've had an amazing guest speaker series. We have Dr. Joseph Mercola. We had the dear sweet Luke Sellers here. We just wrapped up a week with Reverend Michael Beckwith.
He's amazing.
Who is amazing. One of our
energy.
Such an energy. One of our Rythmia partners, such a sweet, sweet soul. And we have upcoming guests this coming week. We have John Perkins. We have my dear friend Parashakti of Dance of Liberation joining us with Karen Berg, the founder of the Kabbalah Center. That's happening in a couple of weeks. So big stuff coming up. So if you are at all intrigued, feeling a bit hesitant, but are really interested in booking, you know, stay tuned. That's what we're going to talk about today is the Rythmia experience and what you can expect in getting your miracle. And you can also, another great tip is if you haven't yet read our dear founder and leader Gerry's book, Gerard Armand Powell's book, Shit the Moon Said. I highly recommend you grab that. It's available on Amazon. It's a really quick read. It's a small book, but it's got a lot of information about the retreat center, plant medicine, why we do what we do, and what to expect. So you can check that out. And while you're on Amazon, there's also a little book called Miracle Meals.
It's delicious.
It's a delicious cookbook. It's my first book that I wrote all of recipes from Rythmia. And I'm working on Miracle Meals 2. Hopefully that'll be done and released in the ebook version by the end of February. And that's going to be Miracle Meals 2.0, sauces and sweets. Yummy stuff. So the miracle sauce is in there, the gluten-free chocolate chip cookie recipe that everyone wants is in there, the golden milk, all of the stuff, the most requested sauces and sweets are going to be in that one. So,
it's making me hungry.
Yes, and we just had lunch and we're hungry already. So before we, I yabber on for much longer, let's see who's watching. We got a lot of people. Stephanie's saying hello, Kathleen's saying hello. Hey Barbara, Linda is watching from Los Angeles, Alex is watching from Canada. So great to see you guys all tuning in. And we're talking about getting your miracle at Rythmia. And we have our dear friend. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us where you're from?
Charity. Hello, and I'm from Florida, Tampa Bay area.
Excellent. Now this is not your first time here at Rythmia.
This is my second time here. I was here in November with my son. Amazing, amazing experience. I feel like I was more focused on him, and I got miracles at the same time. And so I knew I was coming back in January. I knew it, and then I just had things happen, confirming over and over to come back. And I'm so happy I did, and I'm so happy how blessed I was to meet Dr. Reverend
Michael Beckwith.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
so that was coincidence for you?
Yes.
So
and I
good.
had met him before at a Qigong thing with the magazine. We did it. We were doing a story on it, and he was amazing then. I mean, 2,000 people. He had all holding hands in a circle and breathing energy to the president, to the world, and just amazing.
He is an amazing spirit, one of Rythmia's amazing partners that we're so grateful to have, Michael Beckwith. Thank you if you're watching.
Yes.
We love you. We love you so much. He just left this morning, so such an energy when he's here. It's just this vibration.
Yeah, he vibrates the ground you walk on.
He vibrates it, but it's just like this peacefulness.
Yeah.
It's like the funniest thing.
Yeah.
You feel like so lit up, but grounded at the same time.
Yes.
Right?
He's going to be in St. Pete the day I get back. I'm going to miss him. I thought he was going to be there on Super Bowl Sunday, but it's Wednesday the 30th.
Okay.
He's in the St. Pete area.
Wow.
So
hear that? So if you don't know Michael Beckwith and you're in the St. Pete, Florida area,
Unity Church.
Church, check it out. Look him up. I'm sure he's got his events on his website and stuff like that.
Yes.
Who else is watching here? We've got Susie saying hello from Houston. She's letting a little one of my new secrets. I'm gonna make an announcement about my own personal miracle that I'm enjoying tomorrow on my Facebook Live. If you guys want to tune in, same time, same channel tomorrow for my cooking Facebook Live. I've got some great news to share with the world. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about charity and charity's experience this week. So it's so funny that you just said, like, when you were here the first time, you knew you would be back. Everything just kind of came into alignment, because I feel like that is super common for everyone that chooses this path, is the synchronicities.
Yes.
Synchronicities.
Perfect. And I felt like I had a rebirth this time. It was huge. I didn't even realize it was a rebirth until Gerry and people were talking about the rebirth. And it was incredible how I became one with everyone. Like, I just saw my whole life flash before me, and
Wow.
and all my friends were there, and everybody here, and just
Connected.
yes,
Connected,
it was incredible.
connected,
I didn't even
yes.
feel my body. I felt like a piece of energy. Like, it's incredible. It was. I know. I feel it again talking about it.
But that's the beautiful thing, because it's part of
Yes.
you now. Like,
Yeah.
you're going to carry this connected, knowing and remembering with you forever and ever and ever. So before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I want to talk about, at Rythmia, we let the medicine do her work because she knows best. But after all of this time that we've been working with the medicine, we've got well over 4,000 souls through our doors now, which is just an outstanding number. We've really figured out the best program and the best way to help guide people through it, so that when you're here for 7 days, you can get your miracle and move on into your go back to your new real life, really feeling that connectedness. So we really like to focus on, setting 3 intentions here. The first intention we like to get people to really explore with the medicine is, show me who I've become. Show me how I've gotten to where I am in my life today. Essentially, that can, typically shows people like the reason why they came here. Because typically people come here because they could be rock bottom, they could be confused about their direction in life, they could just be questioning the decisions they've made and why they're not happy. Like, why am I not happy? And often, all you need to know to understand that is, what fake persona have you taken on in life? Show me, what have I become? Who am I that is so disconnected from my truth,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So do you feel like the medicine gave you a good glimpse of that this week?
I was not in the best place. I came with a broken hip even this time. That's even pushed me even further to come back in January. I knew I was coming back in January. I didn't know I would come broken even more, because the work that I did in November here was incredible, and I felt like extraordinary. Extraordinary and spectacular, where I wanted to be. And then this happened, and it put me back 11 steps back to who I was before I found my heart again, and my soul, connected with my soul. And this time, so that happened for a reason. So I even feel healing here. I felt my bones growing back together.
Wow.
It's incredible how you feel it. Like, I'm sore from the surgery.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the sacred surgery in a little bit, and a bit more about what that is, in case you haven't watched or haven't been to Rythmia, you're not understanding what we're referencing to right now.
Yes.
But when the medicine was showing you who you become and who you are, what do you mind, explaining what you saw?
What I saw was the truth. I mean, you can't hide from the truth. And it was incredible, because I didn't realize that I had so much forgiving to do for myself, for the people in my life, for the situations that I created in my life. I was heartbroken, divorced, and disconnecting with my son, and seeing who I was, like breaking the law, being a liar, like all these things come up, and you're like, wow, I had no idea I think I'm a great person and an honest person, and then it shows you situations in your life that you need to recognize, and as soon as you see that and recognize it and acknowledge it, it goes away. It's like magic. It's like being in it, and it's really true. You know, you hear people talk about it, and then you experience it, and you're like, wow, they're right. It goes away. The pain goes away. Then something goes.
Yeah.
As soon as you say, where do I feel it, and when did I first have that experience? I know I'm getting the goosebumps thinking about it, talking about it.
And it sounds so simple, but it is typically the biggest lie we carry about ourselves that causes the most damage. You know, like Gerry always, tells in his story that, when he really had to start, he really took time to think about, okay, who am I? What am I? Okay, well, I might be a pretty shitty guy because I drink too much, I do drugs, I've been a horrible father and husband, but I'm a pretty honest guy. In business, this is what he used to say, I'm a pretty honest guy. But then the first night he went in and did the medicine, and the medicine's like, you're a fucking liar. Like, you are the most dishonest. And this is what we all have this.
Justify it.
Yeah.
We try to justify it and make it better. I mean, we're taught to lie.
Mm-hmm.
The man in the white coat.
Yeah.
The president.
Exactly. I mean, and then it becomes the lie of the lie. So then we are lying all the live long day in whatever capacity that means to us. But then it's the justification of that lie. It's the
lie after lie after lie.
Yeah, it's like my wife calls me when you're at the strip bar after work, and your wife calls and said, are you coming home? And oh no, you tell her you're working late. It's not the fact that you lied to say that you were working late, it's the lie that you then in your head justify, she deserves that lie because blah, 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 blah. You know, and you're just piling these lies on top of each other, justifying them so you can't own what it is. Yes. And then the minute you're really shown and you can go, oh my God, that's me, then it doesn't have power anymore.
Yeah, it's like that so much you start believing your own lies too. You know?
Yes.
And then the medicine, she shows you.
She shines that light. You know, it shines the light on that darkness, and then it can no longer be dark, right? That's
as soon as you acknowledge it, the light.
And it's the hardest part. This is the hardest part of what we do here, because there can be so much resistance about seeing that who I become. Like, because we've all, like for me, I'm 38 years old. That's nearly 40 years of being something that I thought that I was, and then having that ripped out from underneath me. It's terrifying. You have your ego going up against the medicine the whole time, saying that's not true, or just like, don't show me, I don't want to see this.
Yes.
But you can't go any further unless you're open and you can just surrender to that. So then you can start making space to call in the love and the healing and who you actually are.
Yes, true.
So you had an experience where you're like, I thought I was a really good person, but then it's like, no, it showed me I was breaking the law, I was lying, and all of these things that we justify. So once you saw that,
I apologized. I forgave myself, even for, like I said, the situations that were going on in my life, and I got stuck and like depressed. I mean, I didn't get out of bed for a couple months, and people know me. I'm a positive person, and I love to give light to the world and joy. And I was stuck, and when you're stuck, even with my language, I wasn't talking the way I wanted to talk, or that I believe in conscious language.
Right.
And now I feel back to myself even more, better and brighter even.
Well, we were just talking about something before we went live. We were talking about baby development, and we were talking about how early in the gestation process, the heart and the tongue develop.
Your heart's developed first, and then your tongue is the second thing. And so you speak from your heart.
So you're speaking from your heart. So how are we able to? I mean, I think that carries over to full life. How are we supposed to have a taste for life and be able to talk freely from our heart if we're not connecting, And now you've healed your heart, you've gone through this process, and you got your vocal cord, your vocal skills back. Normally Charity's been very soft spoken, and here you are right now, like you're owning this. You're here telling your story and your truth, and it's absolutely incredible.
Yes,
incredible.
It is incredible, and I'm so grateful that this place is here. I mean, you guys have Gerry has thought of everything, down to the music, down to the walking, the paths, everything here is so perfectly well done. I mean, Thank you, Gerry.
Yes, thank you,
I
Gerry.
see him and I'm like, I just want to jump on him and hug him and say, God, you're the best thing that happened to the world.
Yeah, well, he really is.
Here.
He really is.
Yeah.
So back to your journey. So we've seen who we become. The next thing we always say, we call it the Trinity. Show me who I've become, and then the next thing that we like to ask, I keep looking at the wrong thing, I've got my iPad over here. This isn't the camera. We ask, show me who I've become, and then we say, merge me back with my soul. Because once you've been shown who you become, the idea is that we all are born and brought into this world as these pure beings, these beings of light, these connected souls. You see babies, they are just doing their thing. They're happy one minute, sad the next, but just going through their life completely connected to and unprogrammed. They're just them in the most beautiful, clear way. And I mean, kids, I think, are so connected to themselves, but they're also so connected to the other realms as well. Like I know when I was super young, I had imaginary friends. Susie Saccamore was one of my imaginary friends, but I think back now,
I love her name.
Susie Saccamore. I mean, you can't make this shit up. I'm pretty sure I didn't, because I think that was her name, and I feel like back then, we're open enough that we can see things. So she might have been someone from another realm that was visiting, and she was always just good vibes. We played on the trampoline together.
I love her.
It was like
she's fun.
But yeah, she was super fun. We were running around the farm, and I would remember I'd tell my mom, she'd be like, okay. But as kids, we're open to that stuff. So we want to get back there, and that's the idea. And we hear when we talk about that there is this split that happens, where we split from being that perfectly pure version of ourselves to becoming this conditioned, person that is, essentially that's where all of these lies that we were talking about pile up.
All the things our ancestors taught, the parents.
Yeah.
That's why it's easy to forgive your parents and people too that have hurt you, because they don't know any better.
Exactly.
They are only doing what they were trained or programmed or taught, however you were.
Because they're all split, we all split, and that's the nature of life. We're born, we split, we remember, we die.
And I like knowing that too, that we were designed to split,
and
designed to find ourselves back in our truth. And we were just talking about Bali at lunch. There, they don't even allow the babies to touch the ground, earth, for the first 6 months.
Wow.
They carry around the baby. Isn't that incredible?
That's beautiful.
Because they want them to keep the heavenly spirit.
Yeah. Not ground them too soon.
Yes.
I love that.
I know you would love Bali.
I really love it. I love ballet and I love baby talk. We'll get into that later.
Yeah. Sorry.
So the next thing, so we're talking about merging our soul back together. So
that baby again.
And be like that baby again. So do you think you experienced that this week?
Definitely.
Was it during that rebirth experience you had?
That was my rebirth. After I saw who I had become, and there were a lot of things that came up of who I've become, not just. And I really liked having Dr. Reverend Michael because there was something that he said that helped me through my journey, and something wonderful is going to happen. Something wonderful is happening, and focusing on that and knowing that and acknowledging things when they come up, and then you can correct it. Not only correct it, but it just changes. And everything has to change, right? Everything changes when you acknowledge it or shine the light on it. And so my rebirth was incredible. Like I told you, I just felt like I was.
How did it start? How did it start? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. I just felt like.
This was on the first night for you?
No, this was the second night.
Second night, okay.
Yeah, it was the second night.
I know it's probably a blur.
Yeah, it was the second night. Because the last night, Thursday, I had 3 nadas.
Okay. Perfect.
All 3 drinks I slept.
Perfect.
Like a baby.
So we'll talk about nadas again in a minute. Let's talk about the rebirth. I know we get so excited when we talk about this stuff.
Yeah, I know. So my rebirth, and I didn't even realize it was a rebirth. And it helps that we have the talks after and stuff. And
integration, we have integration talks every day, the day after, to help people start to understand what their journey's meant.
And it really helped. And then I said, you have so many aha moments too, even throughout the day walking, not just in the ceremony. I've had tons of aha. So my rebirth, I just saw my whole life pass before me. I saw everything so clearly, and all my friends and all the people that were in my life and all the things that, I even questioned, am I really a mother? Am I a daughter? Are those my parents? Or, you know, like everything. It was so incredible. Is Michael Beckwith still here? I mean, is he really here? Like, can I change all this? And all my friends came up. Just everything in my life. And then I didn't even feel my arms or legs. I felt like a piece of energy. I just felt like connected with the whole universe. It was incredible.
So that's like a rebirth to me. It sounds like to like the point of creation when we were all just these particles of one great
That's exactly how
whole.
I felt.
You know, like super macro. When your individual life right now as a mother and a friend is so micro. So to get, I think getting to that place between knowing that you are, yes, this is my human form right now versus this is my massive part in this otherworldly infinite existence.
Because part of me didn't want to come back.
And this is what we were just talking about this morning.
Like, heaven on earth.
Yeah, we do. I mean, and this is that's the beauty of this rebirth. When you know you've had it, is when you're so far on the other side in this alternate reality, on the medicine, that you hesitate to want to go back to living life as a human. I know I've been there twice, once on the plant medicine and one in a very deep shamanic 10-hour breathwork session that I did.
Breath.
And it's like almost like the one time I mourned, like it took 2 hours to bring me back into my body, and I cried and kicked and screamed. I was like, I don't want to be human, fuck human. Like, I was like, I want to be over there. And this is a Gerry
floating around.
Yeah. And this is what Gerry and I, we were just talking about this morning in our closing circle. You know, it's when you know you've gone to the other side when you don't want to come back. And this is why you hear about so many people that are like die, like medically, then they're revived and they're like, damn it, why did you do that? You know?
Doctor, why did you bring me
Doctor! Because they have such an amazing time on the other side. So having these rebirths on the medicine is just such a beautiful way for you to get a taste. So then you can come back and continue living this blip in time, this small, short life that we exist for in this particular lifetime, without fear.
Yes.
And just a full present connected to this one life, knowing that this is what we have right now so we can enjoy it and make it as beautiful and peaceful as possible, and then knowing that eventually we do get to go enjoy that infinite bliss on the other side.
Yes.
But knowing that you don't need to rush any of it, right?
Enjoy every precious moment you have, and every moment is precious. I love what Gerry said today. Like, everything is precious, even the things that we think are shitty and crappy, and it's precious.
Every moment is an
Enjoy
altar.
it.
It's an altar. Like your life.
Be grateful for everything.
Exactly.
It's a blimp, like you said.
It's a blip. Like this moment, like this is why I've just gotten so free with all my tattoos. I'm like, this little meat suit that I'm sporting is like, I'm with it for nothing. It's maybe 80 years, but in real time, that's like a nanosecond. So I'm not going to be so stressed out about it. I think back to all the years I spent starving myself, bulimia, harming myself. You know, I had plastic surgery when I was like 16 years old because I hated my body so much. Now
Where do you have plastic surgery?
Oh, I had a big mole right here, right smack dab in the middle of my
That's your third
eyes.
eye.
I know, it was totally my third eye, but I had it surgically removed by a doctor, my mom, and that was the same year I think I had an operation to try to fix my teeth. Like I was just, I know, now I embrace it, but I spent so much time fighting it, and it's now I'm like, wow, this is just so temporary and it's not worth the stress. So much of what we stress so much about in this life is just not worth it. And when we become merged souls, it just doesn't cause the same stress that it used to either.
Yes, exactly.
Because you can accept the hardships as a part of this life, and that it's inevitable. Yes, people are going to pass on, but you can at least know that they're going to a way better place, you know? So it's still hard because you're going to miss them, but
they're always with you.
They're always with you.
The energy's still around.
Exactly.
It's in your heart.
100%. 100%. So speaking of hearts,
How
is your heart? Well, I mean, we might as well move on to step 3 now. Like the Trinity is show me who I've become, merge me back with my soul, and rebirth is a really great way to do that, and heal my heart. Like, because we feel like that is the really, we live from here. This is our most connected state. When we can really connect to unconditional, infinite love, then everything falls into place.
Yes.
So what was your experience with that this week?
So forgiving the people that hurt me, and my heart is definitely healed, because not only am I forgiving of myself and other people that I felt like hurt me, I was so grateful and extremely happy for them. extremely happy, and I feel how happy my heart is right now, and that I'm going to be following my heart. And one of the things my heart is saying is maybe move to Costa Rica.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to going to Peru and finding even more.
And that's where you're headed after this.
Yes. And coming back here. I mean, I definitely love working with the medicine and know how healing it is. I feel so much like my heart pumping so much love throughout my body, and I have that to thank Mother Ayahuasca and Gerry and you guys and all the angels around, and the people here are so helpful. But I mean, they look like angels flying around with wings when they walk.
They do. The ceremony angels. We have the best.
You feel so protected, even
team.
from your terrible thoughts. You know, you feel like nothing can hurt you.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing to remember. I know a lot of people. Personally, I talk to my friends about it all the time that are, really intrigued about the medicine, but they have this fear.
People are so afraid.
They're so afraid of what they're going to see, which just makes sense. But you're not going to see things like, it's not like a horror movie that you just are jumping out of your skin scared. It's mostly stuff that the stuff that scares you the most is the truths. It's your truths about yourself. And that is the hardest and can be the most scary.
Yes.
It's not like I said, a horror movie and like murder scenes and all of that stuff.
Seeing my truth, and I couldn't deny it. I didn't know what to do with it. And when I acknowledged it and said, "Okay, I'm a liar. I'm a lawbreaker," then it went away. Then I didn't feel bad anymore. I forgave and
at the
loved and rejoiced.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, you're on a mattress in Costa Rica. Drinking a medicine, a brew.
VIP mattress.
A VIP mattress with a nice fluffy blanket.
And toilet paper.
And no matter where you go, spiritually, you're safe and you're held, and this team is here. We have the medical team. We do such intense screenings before people even get here that everyone is so safe when they're here. And it's, if you do have medical staff, and if you have a hard night, it's just like a night of bad dreams. You wake up the next day and we start processing through it. We talk through it. And then the next night is a completely different journey. We do it 4 nights in a row, and that's proven to be the best way to get people the results that they need in 7 days, because it's not a long time to change your entire life.
Right. Yes.
Because that's what's happening. People are having their entire lives changed for the better in a week.
And you see it on everyone's face. You see from the first day to the last, and it's incredible.
Yeah, you've done it
goosebumps.
Twice now. You've been able to witness that.
I didn't even recognize some of the people that I met in the beginning. They were staying in a hotel in Liberia, and I was like, whoa, and I felt bad for not recognizing them, but they looked so amazing. And like every crap was lifted out of their life and their face, and it shows.
Yeah, Gerry always jokes that women come here and they go home, and the first thing their friends start asking, did you go get Costa Rica to get cheap plastic surgery or something? You get a little tuck and a lift, but it's the medicine.
People really think
they do, because you soften.
Yeah.
You soften. You're here in the sun, so you get the sun-kissed glow. You're eating great food. You're having a total cleanse of the system, and you're just not as worried. So all of those worry lines and all those wrinkles, they just melt away naturally.
Yes.
So it's just, I just can't. It's changed my life. Seeing people like you come through and have such deep, beautiful processes from beginning to end, and just shine such light. The whites of your eyes glow. Your smile melts my heart. I remember the first...
My cheeks hurt. They need a massage.
Yeah. And this is the beauty. It feels like, when you're little kids at slumber parties and just laughing all night long. That's what it feels like here all day long, with a bunch of adults, strangers that become friends, that become family.
We even saw a wedding. That was
spiritual
was a great end
wedding.
To my rebirth and to my nadas, and seeing a wedding was so... represented so much too. It was so beautiful that they shared that love with all of us too.
Yeah, there's this beautiful couple that we had here. They're parents of 4 children, just reignited their love, had a spiritual ceremony, re-wed in one of the ceremonies.
I got to hear their love story too. They only just met a couple years ago.
So incredible.
In their 50s, I think, or something.
And this was a couple that when they left this morning, I said to them, they are the epitome, the example of being strong and soft, you know,
they're perfect together.
Pure and powerful. They were just like, they were so beautiful. I saw them like taught yoga on Thursday morning, and one of the husband in the relationship crying with his head on my knee, just so vulnerable. And then the next day just standing in his power with such strength and ease. And it was there like that perfect example of what we all need to be. Like, we don't need to be hard all the time. We don't need to be victims. We don't need to be any of that stuff. We just need to be ourselves and our truth. And I mean, and you can't argue with the joy that can bring.
And you wonder, why is it so hard to be so true to yourself? Because it helps everyone else too, when you're true to yourself and truth to yourself, about yourself. And
it should be the easiest thing. Like, why is it so hard for us to just be us? Because of life, because society, because how we're brought up, because the lies we tell ourselves. You know, and these are all really great excuses. But at the end,
excuses be gone.
At the end of the day, we just have to get back to our truth, because that's where the joy lies, for not just us, but for our friends and our family and everyone else in the whole world as it ripples out. Okay, so what are we at for time here? Doesn't matter, I can't see any of my clocks. But let's just see if there's any questions here. Linda is saying hello. Robert's watching. Sierra is saying from Nolans. Tammy's watching. Nick, Landon, Susie, Anki, Sveta, Rick, hey, Hadia, Mirka, Robert, Kenneth is watching. William is saying hello. Brenda's saying see you in March. Okay, my dear friends, I think we're going to wrap that up today. Is there anything you want to add?
Just, I love you guys. I love you guys. I'm so grateful. Thank you. I appreciate everything. Thank you.
We love you, and I appreciate you coming on here, being so brave to share your personal journey here. And we're excited to see where life brings you, and just hear all the new things that evolve in life until we see you again. Yes. Which I hope will be very soon.
Yes, it will.
Yay. Amazing. Okay, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. I hope you have a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Dinah's watching, Gord is watching, Wayne is watching. We got lots of people. George is saying, can you somehow arrange for there to be a closed captioning with the videos? We can look into something about that.
And watch tomorrow for next
Miracle. So if you guys are interested in the food side of things, I will be doing my normal Facebook Live tomorrow. Same time, same channel, talking about spirals, different spaghetti recipes, sweet and savory. And I might be making a little bit of an announcement. So just tune in if you want. If not, you can watch the replay. All of these videos are always available in the archives on the Rythmia video section on the Rythmia Facebook page, as well as on YouTube. All right, guys, we love you so much. Yeah. Have a beautiful end of January, and we'll see you soon. Ciao. Thank you again, Charity.
Thank you.